And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers, Frankly Football. And as you may notice, we have a guest with us today. The great, the honorable Space Cowboy. Space, introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. If you guys don't know who the hell I am, I'm SpaceCowboy17, one of the more, if you want to say, prominent cowboy YouTubers in this
Indeed,
space.
indeed.
I mean, 6,000 subscribers in YouTube doesn't seem like a lot, but in our community it is. But hey,
That's a
man,
good.
you know what? I'm just here to talk Cowboys football. It's fun to talk about and something to get my mind off of what's going on now. So,
Yeah,
Hey man, we
Space,
appreciate you, man. We appreciate you coming and kicking with us,
absolutely,
man. And
no worries.
it's always an honor to hang out with you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
absolutely.
So we kind of feeling through, man. But we going through something we haven't gone through in a while. We lost our beloved, honorable Rain Dakota Prescott on Sunday, man. And we talked about it a little bit, man. I've been watching the Cowboys for a long time. I know you guys have too, man, but I've never gotten emotional about anybody getting hurt. I've watched Romo get hurt a couple of times. I watched Dez go down and get hurt. I was like, all right, they got to get hurt. Who coming in next? When that kid got hurt on Sunday, man, it had a gamble of emotions going over me. But more importantly, man, I love the fact that how the team and everybody rallied around him to go forward. But and man, football is something that you just it's next man up. So the next man up, man, is the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
Hey, man, I'm not
the
gonna lie to you.
TCU gunslinger.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Chris, man. I'm still sad. I'm still beat up about all of this. Because I really thought that this team, led by Dak, would have been able to turn it around. I don't think that Andy is a bad quarterback. I think he's one of the better backups in the league. But I don't think that he would have been able to potentially lead this team to the promised land like Dak could.
So tell me, in your estimation, what's the promised land for the Cowboys this year? You tell me what the promised land is.
Once this defense, and I've said this for weeks now, once this defense gets back on track and becomes average, I would say anywhere between 18 to 23, then I think that this offense led by Dak Prescott, would have been able to potentially get you late into the playoffs, NFC Championship game.
Okay,
And
what about
I mean
you,
that
where
wholeheartedly.
you at with that?
I will say with Brandon, I was more or less on that same boat. I think the Cowboys are starting to really figure themselves out. Listen, I've seen teams start out 1-5, 0-5, and go 11-5, 10-6. I've seen that happen. That actually happened more recently with the Colts in
Yes.
2018, where they started
Okay.
1-5 and they went 10-6. But I think ultimately, right now, my main goal is get to the playoffs with how porous of a division we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And at the best win a playoff game. And I'm going to just say this. I know if Dak was healthy, I would say the bar would be we're going to the freaking NFC Championship game because I feel like this
At
defense
least.
is going to – yeah, because think about it. Our defense has been hurt.
Right.
And when we've been seeing Jalen start to play better, we've been seeing Anthony Brown just came back and he made an impact play along with DeMarcus Lawrence starting to show up. We're starting to see this team kind of start to gel. And then when Dak went down, you kind of saw them kind of kick it into high gear and really turn this thing around. And listen, I've never been so distraught over someone getting hurt in a while. The last time was probably Romo when I knew it was over for him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, that was it.
But my whole thing is if I'm the Cowboys, I know some people are saying we should tank. I know some people are saying, hey, maybe we should try to salvage the season. Listen, you play to win all these games that are set in front of you. You don't sit there and be like, nah, I'm going to lose. I feel like it's a win-win situation for the Cowboys. It's either we do well, we win, and we show, hey, this coaching staff is pretty damn good, or it's like, hey, we get a top draft pick in next year, and damn, we get an elite prospect, and we go from there. So I think I think what I would love to see, the Cowboys win the division and maybe win a playoff game.
Okay. I'm right there with you. My point is you get back to the playoffs because you have to set the tone and the culture. You're trying to infuse a different culture inside that locker room with McCarthy, with Nolan, with Tom Sula, with Philbin, with Fossil. You're trying to bring all that Lindquist. You're trying to bring a new culture. The best way to start the culture off with is getting to the playoffs. So that's my mindset. With Rain, I'm thinking NFC Championship at the minimum because I think the defense was coming around and the offense is clicking. if you stop turning the ball over, which is fixable, right? And even with both tackles going and the center who should have been started from the beginning, because like I said, you can love Joe's a great guy, honorable man. I'd love to have him sit around and talk to my kids about life. I just don't want him blocking for my quarterback and my running backs.
Right.
I got the guy I want in there. We get to find out, we get to really do a in-depth evaluation of the football team at every phase. I think you come out of this year with a lot of people with, questions answered, check mark, and what you need to do going into next season. So with Andy playing and without my starting quarterback, you get to answer a lot of questions. So yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think it is playoffs. I'm saying playoffs, and divisional round, and I'm at least make it to the divisional round and show well in the divisional round. If my defense gets up to par, then by no means I think I can get to the NFC Championship.
Right, and I just want to add really quickly, no slouch. Andy Dalton's no slouch, guys. I mean, listen. I think that when it comes to Andy, the way I look at him, and this is kind of weird, he reminds me like a budget Alex Smith, not in a bad way, but like he's like, he knows how to drive the bus, but I like him slightly more than Alex Smith because he has more of that gunslinger mentality, while Alex Smith is more like the bus driver type of guy. So he's more of a gunslinger version of Alex Smith, which if he is that at the most, this team should at minimum win 8 games, and that's enough to win this division. But
because look, the thing about it, he hasn't lost any of his auxiliary pieces. He's got Amari, he's got Michael, he's got CD, he's got Zeke, he's got Pollard, he's got Dalton Schultz. Because at the beginning of the year, we didn't know who Dalton Schultz was. He's got Dalton Schultz, so he's got all the weapons to be able to make a nice march. The only thing we're waiting on, help is on the way, is with the defense. And we got some different things we were talking about. We'll probably do that later, talking about trade deadline and what we want to do. But I'm excited. I'm hurt that Rain's gone, but I don't feel like all is lost. When Romo went down in 2015, the first time, when he went down against Philadelphia that day, I was like, okay. And we saw Brandon Whedon play the next game, and we watched Joe Randall when he wasn't still in cologne and draws. and I was like, oh, we got to deal with this. I don't have that same feeling. I think Andy will come in, he will play well, he will be the insurance policy that I've always thought he would be, and I don't think it changes the Joneses' mind on who they sign going into next year.
Now, here's the thing, guys. One reason that I've been so comfortable, I've been dealing with this grief process well with Andy Dalton, is because I think that Mike McCarthy is an amazing offensive coach. We've seen, even though we all knew that Dak Prescott would be a great quarterback, we've seen him propelled to levels unseen in the history of the league under McCarthy's wing. You get Dalton in those situations, and Andy would previously give the ball away. It's okay to admit that, but this team's had turnover problems anyway. So I honestly think you break even there. But you get him under a coach who loves to air the ball out, in Mike McCarthy, and I think you'll be able to see some good things from him. I think that Coach McCarthy can elevate Dalton's play to be serviceable. I said this earlier today, I believe, just talking to somebody else. You get me Gardner Minshew level of play from Andy Dalton. That's around 280 yards, 2 touchdowns per game. You can throw in the odd interception or fumble here and there. And I think that these weapons will be able to elevate him to get some wins.
I disagree with that one. I'm going to tell you why I disagree. I need to go from -8 turnover differential in the next 4 games. I need to cut that in half. I need to be at -4. I need to be at -4. I need to get on the positive side because we don't have a defense right now that can afford to give away possessions. I don't think we have that right now. I think it's going to kind of go back. It's going to revert a little bit more working with Zeke, doing what Zeke does. and controlling the ball more and getting the defense out there less. I think I need the defense on the field no more than 25 minutes a game right now.
I love your optimism.
Right.
But in Dalton's last 3 years, he threw 14 interceptions in 2019, 11 in 2018, and 12 in 2017.
Yeah, but
he'll give the ball away.
Did he have okay, so he had AJ Green, Giovanni.
Yeah, Joe Mixon in there. Yeah, Joe Mixon in there.
Okay.
In those 3 years.
Okay. He had Boyd in there too.
I believe so. And Tyler Eifert, who was
but
at that time one of the better.
Eifert stayed hurt a lot. So hey, listen, man, I don't need double-digit interceptions. If he can keep me at 5 to 7, I'm good. 5 to 7.
I would love it. I couldn't pray for anything better.
No, I'm praying for that. I'm putting oil. I'm putting out rosary beads, whatever I can to get him to 5 to 7 interceptions, man.
Listen, man, I'm telling you, it's just like with Andy Dalton. Look, he is one of those quarterbacks where, every quarterback makes mistakes. I mean, look, like with Arizona, Kyler Murray has turned the ball over 6 times in terms of throwing interceptions. Yeah. Okay, we look at our division, right? What's his face? Daniel Jones has looked terrible. What, like 2 touchdowns to like 6 interceptions before we played them. Carson Wentz, he's been terrible. The freaking Washington football Wizards, like Vach likes to call them, like they just made a quarterback change because Dwayne Haskins. Well, I don't believe it's fully his fault. I feel like he's just been let down. Look, it's just he's been not playing well. So I think that Andy Dalton, with the limited time we saw him, is still currently, from what I've been seeing, the best quarterback in the division right now. Now, I'm not saying it's like by a far margin like it was when Dak was playing, but I think he's slightly better than a Carson Wentz and way better than a Daniel Jones or a Dwayne Haskins or whoever the hell they want to put in there, because at least he showed he can make the throws, he can roll out of the pocket and make the key things that he needs to do to win the game.
Right, he can make things happen. That's true. So I think everything works out. So we know the wide receiver core is intact. We really believe the running game is going to be able to pick up. I think Tony's kind of over his beginning the season jitters. He looked pretty good.
Hey man, I hope he's out of the doghouse, man.
Huh?
I hope Tony's out of the doghouse because his special team play had really got him on the coaching staff's bad side to the point where they even when we were in comfortable position to attempt to run the ball, they wouldn't put him in. They would do reverses to CD. They would give the ball to anyone else except for Tony after he had his blunders. I hope that he has fixed that. If he doesn't stop, Cedric Wilson is going to take his job on special teams.
They might as well just do that anyway, if that's the case, because that's the thing that's irritating me is like, I don't like seeing how special teams are correlating to the offensive approach of this football team. I understand that Tony made a mistake. Like, if he was making mistakes on offense, I understand him not getting touches, but again, he's your running back too. You cannot afford to have this dude on the bench with the potentials he has. When he gets the ball, he's gonna make a play. Not every time, but most of the time he's pretty efficient.
Listen, I think it was like a second or third down flip pass that Dalton hit him, and him in space, you can see he's different. I mean, we love Zeke, but he made a move on a guy, froze him in his foot, and he got him sideline and made 8, 9, 10-yard gain. He's different with his ball in the hand in open space. I think the NFL is changing with special teams. Like initially, they were like, hey, we're going to give you the ball on the 25. Now they're to the point, hey, we're going to kick it to the 1. We're going to kick it to the 2 and fight you to get to the 25. And I think that's one of our irritations with him. Hey, don't take it out if you're going to get it to 25. Now they're kicking it short, and he's still not getting to the 25. So I think that's a problem we have with him there. But I think the biggest question we have is what our biggest portion of the offense, and that's the offensive line. How do you guys feel about the offensive line?
Space, would you like to go first?
Sure. I mean, listen, this offensive line is held by duct tape, glue, you name it, because they're just trying to figure out what the hell is going to work. Now, I'm going to say this. Brandon Knights looked pretty damn good for what you get in an undrafted rookie free agent. I know he's not an undrafted rookie free agent now, but how he's developed he's come along quite nicely, and he reminds me a lot of Doug Free. So I think that you maybe have a starter there if Tyron decides to retire in the offseason, which is a possibility
Don't
now
bring that up.
because, well,
Don't press us
we
with
got to
that.
talk about that because that next setback, that is going to ruin this offensive line in the future unless we know what we have at our disposal. With Lyle being hurt and his hip surgery, that's a problem too, because now he can't be the same guy. Well, we don't know that, but odds are he might not be able to be the same guy, because if you're playing tackle, you need that lower body motion to be able to play the position effectively. And we don't know. But I do have a couple positives, however. I have with Connor Williams, while he may be the weakest link on this offensive line, he's been pretty serviceable, solid with what I've been asking for him, and he has getting blown up at times, but hey, you know what? I just think that's because Joe Looney hasn't been playing well. That's just my honest opinion. Now with Tyler Biadasz in there, Tyler has been playing amazing for what you got in him. And he's and I mean Zach Martin. I don't have no questions there.
No complaints about El Presidente. No complaints about
absolutely. And then right tackle, this is the problem. Now Terrence Steele, I don't know the infatuation with Terrence Steele. I will say he's had his moments where he's like, okay, he's a solid guy, but no way in hell am I banking on him as a long-term type of starter. Now with Joe Looney, because me personally, my personal offensive line would probably be, you put Brandon Knight at right tackle, you put Connor at left. You have to get Connor McGovern in there. That's my big premise. Is because we do not know what we have in him. So there's either one or two things that's occurring. He's either extremely trash to the point that where the coaching staff does not want him to touch the football field. Or they're stubborn.
Very. The word that I like to use is hubris.
Yes.
I think that it's an intense amount of ego, an intense amount of hubris coming from the coaching staff to want their guy to be the winner. They don't want to put in the other coaching staff's guy. And that's normal in new regimes, especially clean slate cases like you have with Dallas, where there's only like one or two guys that are holdovers. I think that Brandon Knight could be having some adaptability issues that's keeping him off of the field. But I also think that this coaching staff is really, really pushing hard for the Terrence 2-ply. There we go. I really like that one. I'm glad I remembered it.
Nice Terrence 2-ply.
There we go. I think that this coaching staff is really pushing that to work, because I think that the guy that we picked up from the Browns practice squad, Greg Sanat, he may be better than Terrence right now. He's I think a 6-year vet. I'd be willing to entrust my right tackle position to a 6-year vet than an undrafted rookie who is admittedly playing poorly. I also think Space gave his ideal line. We gave ours in another video, but I'll rehash it. Of course, Brandon Knight at left tackle. I would personally put Connor McGovern at left guard, Tyler Biadasz at center, Connor Williams at right guard, and Zach Martin at right tackle.
That's pretty good.
Because I think that is giving you the best guys at each position.
Well, I like where both of you guys are going with it. As both of you said, our problem is two things. The ego of this coaching staff, because like you said, they want their guy to be the guy. Coming in, you were thinking, who does Joe Philbin need to coach? He didn't need to coach Lyle Collins. He didn't need to coach Tyron Smith. He didn't need to coach Zach Martin. Those three, hey, you guys go over there, get a cup of water, you need a massage, whatever. They were fine. The guys you wanted to coach were the new guys. And whatever Terrence has that they believe he has is fine. But I kind of switch up my offensive line. I would probably want to have Zach Martin at my right tackle for the opposite line, and I would put Connor McGovern at right guard, because I could put him in between Biadasz and Zach Martin. And for what Connor Williams is doing, now I don't really like the fact that a lot of people are really going against this guy, because I'm looking at who he's had to play. In his first 5 games this year, he dealt with a Defensive Player of the Year,
Talk on.
3 All-Pros, and about 6 to 7 Pro Bowls with the guys in his collection. And he's supposed to get his ass whipped for the most part.
Right.
Our problem is we want him to be Ron Leary at year 6 when Ron was already an extremely strong guy. We want Ron Leary in 2014 at left guard. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And Connor's not that guy, but Connor is sir. And here's the other part. He's better. He's better than Xavier Su'a-Filo.
Oh, easily.
Now let's be honest now.
Easily.
He's better than him by leaps and bounds. But because he's not Zach Martin, he's a bust. So we have to deal with what most teams in the NFL have to deal with when they don't have top-rated offensive lines.
Right.
That adage or that old cliche, they've got one of the 5 best offensive lines in football. That's been a lie for about 2 years now. We're like everybody else. We got 2 or 3 guys, and we got some guys who got to have work. So I think you get to find out and evaluate this offensive line. They get to learn and work together. I think this is going to be a big deal for Tyler on Monday night, going against that defense with a lot of different looks and motions and getting the calls right. But I think from now until the end of the season, he's going to get better by leaps and bounds. And he'll be able to come into next year and be able to say, okay, I got the checks down. I'm going to get stronger. I probably won't get a full off season because of COVID, because I don't know when we're coming out of this, the way we're coming out. But I'll be able to get into the facility. I'll get stronger, and I think we'll be fine. Our biggest question goes back to the day that Tyron Smith says, hey, I don't want to play anymore. And that is our biggest question. That's gonna deal with what we do in the draft. That's going to deal with everything. Because, like you said, Brandon Knight, follow this. Y'all said Brandon Knight reminded y'all of Doug Free. You remember the time when Doug Free was the weak link? Remember the times when you people used to hate Doug Free? Oh, I hate Doug Free.
I will say this. I remember when Doug Free first played for the Cowboys, and he was pretty damn solid and pretty good.
He was the man.
Yes, and that's right? He's reminding me of a young Doug Free. Now, here's the thing. The problem is that Doug Free, while he was the weakest link, he was still pretty good for what it was. Now, towards the end of his career, no. But like,
he was he was the weakest link on that line when you had Tyron, Leary, Frederick, Zach Martin. He had.
And there's no shame in that, though.
There's no shame in that. Yeah, exactly.
No shame in that. Right. So if there's no shame in Doug Free being that guy, why is it such a shame that Connor Williams he's the quote unquote weakest link when I don't think he is? I think he's serviceable. I think you can work with him there. My problem is you ain't got to hire Connor Williams. You got to hire Terrence. You got to hire Terrence Turnstile. You got to hire him because you're going to keep Blake Bell in. You're going to keep a tight end on that side. And you're definitely going to do it now because you got a quarterback who's going to need more protection that you don't think is as elusive as Rain was. So I think that's going to be a big deal for him going in from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's one thing that isn't talked about as much. Andy Dalton is a monolith in that pocket. He's not going to move around. You can't expect him to, hop, skip, and boogie like Dak Prescott would. So you want your offensive line to protect a bit more. You want your tight ends to chip a bit more. You want Zeke to block a little more in order to cover up those type of weaknesses. You talked about having to cover up guys. You're going to have to cover up some of Andy's weaknesses because truth be told, opposing teams aren't going to have to game plan for that aspect. And you might run some play action here and there, but you don't have the threat of him taking off on you and gaining 8 or 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think him coming out of TCU many moons ago, he was more set up to play in the shotgun. But the threat of the RPO, that's gone away. You ain't got to worry about that no more. But you are going to get steady play. You are going to get an accurate passer. But I think your offensive line is going to be your issue that's going to be kind of weak for you. The area I think that has to step up is the defense. So on the defensive side of the ball, where do you think we need Okay, let me change my question. You got help coming. You got help on the way. With the help on the way
after this game,
with help on the way, how do you think that aids the defense? What do you think, Space?
Look, you have I try to tell people this because I think people don't understand. I think the problem is Mike Nolan is trying to use a 3-4 with 4-3 personnel. I can see it, and it's like that's why we've been struggling.
Right.
Now, you're having a guy in Randy Gregory who thrives in the 3-4 coming back, and I swear on my life, this man is going to wreak havoc if all things work out, and I cannot wait to see him play in this. I mean, if Aldon Smith's been doing well, I guarantee you Randy Gregory is going to be doing good. Now, for Leighton's another huge pickup because he's really the centerpiece of your defense, because the problem is, and this is why we've been struggling, is, while Jalen Smith, when he doesn't have to think, not saying he can't, but you know what I mean? Like when he doesn't have to think and all he has to go is just tackle and hit hard, he's great. He's the reason why he's a Pro Bowler. But the problem is when you make him the primary play caller, he starts kind of thinking too much. He's doing all this other stuff. It's like, if you can just do what you did on Sunday and just play freely, you're good. So I think the biggest thing for me is just with Randy Gregory coming back, how does he fit in with this? Because you did extend him for a year. And so that could end up being a situation where someone gets let go this offseason. I don't know who, but
off-season. Okay, off-season. What you think, Brandon?
I think that after this game, you can tell Everson Griffin that it's been a great month and a half.
Or that, that's what I'm thinking.
You appreciate all of his services. You can tell him he can finally blink.
Hey, Space,
you can send him on his way.
Listen,
Space, you can tell Brandon in his other life when he ain't being the founder of Franklin Football. He in HR. He got the speech down to let you go with no problem. Hey, we appreciate you coming by. We appreciate all the hard work, but hey, there's the door. Your cue card don't work no more. You're out of here, pal.
Let me say this really quick. What's funny is I completely forgot Everson Griffin was on this football team until Brandon mentioned it. That's how bad Everson Griffin has looked with this team. And again, I thought that Everson Griffin coming here, like everyone else, was going to be a fantastic addition to this defensive line. And the problem is he is just not fitting with what we're trying to do. And I think we're trying to see the Cowboys trying to tinker with what they can and can't do. And I think we're slowly starting to realize that. So I think that, he is the guy that's going to probably be cut when Randy comes back. I can definitely see that.
I agree. I concur with both of y'all, but this is what I think ends up happening. When you have a lot of pieces and you're trying to get them to fit, but I think what happened last year has transpired into this year. You got a lot of guys on one-year deals. Let's name the guys on the defense on one-year deals. Everson Griffin. I think Poe's on a 1 to 2 year deal. Aldon Smith's on a 1 year deal. Chidobe Awuzie, Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods,
Daryl
Worley, Joe Thomas, right? All these guys are on 1 year deals, right? Inside of a new system. And guess what they're trying to do? Put out good tape.
Now, Chris, I want to interrupt you for 1 second, and then I want you to hop right back in it. I don't count Aldon Smith because I think in the bye week they are gonna take his card from him, telling him that he can't leave the building without a new contract signed. Maybe that's just me.
Okay, but before the season started, we didn't know that they had put Aldon Smith in the demolition man chamber and taught him how to get bigger and stronger, and then defrosted him and put him back on the field to be the guy who he is. Because he's amazing. And we already know how I feel about Lord Voldemort, a.k.a. Randy Gregory, who falls out of bed and gets 5 sacks. I already understand that. But what I think, everybody's trying to put out good tape. What Nolan's defense is, it is a assignment-based defense, and you have to do certain things to make the whole work. It's not going to make you star-studded. It makes the whole good. And I think that's always been his problem from stop to stops. Guys want to get their numbers. We say Dontario Poe isn't playing well, But what Dontari Poe's job is to do is to take up 2 blocks, to let the linebackers run. Like you said, Space, when Jalen has to think, that limits him from saying, hey, let me just go and kill whatever the ball is. He's trying to think, okay, I'm trying to look at the quarterback. I'm trying to be smarter than the quarterback. No, just go kill whatever was in front of you. So I think that's his issue. I think when you bring Leighton back, and I'm going to go on record, I don't like Leighton coming back this soon.
Right, yes, and I completely agree.
I would have preferred Leighton to come back after the bye week.
Yes.
After the bye week, because it's a collarbone. And I can see if it's a collarbone and he was a sous chef at a restaurant. No, he's a linebacker and he's supposed to hit people. That's his job.
Right.
So I would rather have a couple more weeks of rest and him coming back and playing that way. But I think him calling the defenses and him able to do certain things, I think that's going to aid the defense in some other ways. I think Chidobe coming back gets Worley off the field for as many snaps as he has to be on the field. He's not getting killed, but he's not giving me. It's just something about this secondary. There's something that's just not clicking for me.
Right.
Too many miscommunications. And in that back end, I still got to get Wilson in there, and I don't even know who the other number, what was number 40 that came on. I know it wasn't Bill Bates, but whoever the kid was that came on and played.
I don't know who the hell he was.
Yeah,
but like, who the hell
made a play or two? But you get the most dangerous monster on the planet in DeAndre Hopkins this week. So I don't need any miscues. So
right.
I think the defense is getting better. I think Dontari will be there. I don't think they'll let Everson go because Trigger Trey got hurt. And, we talked about life without Rain. We're going to have to live life without Tristan. And who would have thought that? Besides me. Besides me.
I was wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Besides me.
I'm glad I was wrong.
The only one that was holding up the bloodstained banner for Tristan Hill this offseason.
But yeah.
Most of Cowboy Nation had that dude. We got Neville. Neville's going to come in. We're going to cut Tristan Hill. We don't need Tristan.
I do want to say this. There was a rumor that circulated, and I know the Cowboys aren't interested, but I would love it if the Cowboys would send a 2nd-round pick to Denver for Justin Simmons.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we got to get to that. We got to hold that. Yeah. Hold that. We got time for that.
I thought you were going in the direction.
No, we're not going there just yet. And we can transition, but I think the defense is going to get better. You got to wait a couple more weeks. I think you get Chidobe back by the bye. Mm-hmm. You get Randy back next week against the football team that plays near Brandon's house. And then you get more acclimated with those pieces. I don't think you let Everson go. I'm just wondering who they're going to let go. I don't know if it's going to be Thompson. I don't know who it's going to be because I don't want to let go of Dorrance Armstrong. He showed promise. But I need to get Bradley and Nye on the field. I need to get Luke Gifford on the field. I got to find out what I got with those guys because that's the evaluation I need.
I wouldn't be opposed to getting Luke on the field because I think that whoever you can get to, take charge in the middle of the field to let Jalen just do instinctual things to where he can just run straight forward and hit somebody, that's going to put him in position to succeed. So if you can hand those thinking duties off to someone else, I'm all for it.
Gotcha.
And I think that's for the success of the whole team. Nothing against Jalen, but he has a tendency to try to play hero ball.
Oh no, he ain't got a tendency. He wake up with his cape on. We have to take his cape off.
You're right.
He comes to the stadium with his cape on. He wants to be the hero.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you got to give the cape off to somebody else. Batman needed Robin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. He definitely did. So
absolutely.
So you got that. So we defense is who it is. Offense is who's going to be. So now we're coming up on the trade deadline.
That's right. Now, I want to stop you there, Chris.
Give it to me.
Because we gonna make this a two-parter. We gonna end this here. You know, leave the people salivating a little bit. That's kind of your to be continued thing.
Okay.
If you haven't already, please check out our great guest on YouTube, SpaceCowboy17. You know, go watch his videos. Give him a like. Give him a subscribe. You're already here. If you are subscribed to Frankly Football already, shame on you. Watch our videos. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. We need all the help that we can get. So, you know, on behalf of Frankly Football, this is Brandon. Got my man.
I'm sending off Chris, man.
In Space, plug yourself right quick.
Yeah, real quick. If you guys haven't followed me already, you guys can do so on YouTube at SpaceCowboy17. Also, I'm on Twitter at SCowboy17. I gotta get used to that because I changed my Twitter handle.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I'm also on Instagram at TheRealSpaceCowboy17. I try to do the best I can, just giving my thoughts as just a regular guy talking about football. And if you guys enjoy that type of content, by all means, make sure to go there, give a like for the algorithm, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the remainder of the period. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me on. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir.